So we're in that long season of Buffalo Bills OTAs. Is there anything that we can pull out of this of value?
I think the OTAs are important to the team. I don't think they're particularly newsworthy. I think it's nice to see when it appears that, Josh Allen looks more the part. I tend to focus a little bit more on the way he carries himself, with the rest of the team, not just in the OTAs, but in other times in the offseason when they work together. The fact that he's throwing the ball great, that's great. It's OTAs in that sense. So I'm not as much looking at the focus of saying 3 touchdowns, he looks great, he's zipping the ball around. He better look good in the OTAs in that way. He's a different guy now because a year ago, he was the third-string quarterback. He was getting those snaps with those guys, and the eyes were on him as more of a, I won't even say novelty, but it was like, oh, let's see how the kid looks. Well, now he's the guy. And I do think you sense a little difference in him. And that'll go to this part, and then it ramps up more when it's to training camp. And I understand why, as reporters and people are there and they're focusing on it, like great pass to the outside, a touchdown here. That means nothing. That means absolutely nothing. And we only get to see a glimpse of it. Reporters see a day, and then there's a whole week. So he can look great one day and lousy the next 3. And it's not like the team is tweeting out, Josh Allen had a miserable day today. So you only know part of it. I like the way he's transitioning into more of a leader, and I think he's done a good job of not acting like I'm the guy. But the players are accepting him more as the guy. But that all will just transition right to training camp.
I agree with everything Mike just said, but in the defense of everybody tweeting out how great Josh Allen looks, because there's been a ton of it, right? Having been a guy that stands on that sideline at training camp, watching a practice that means absolutely nothing, it is really hard to not get sucked in, especially with a guy like Josh Allen who has the arm that he has, who looks really good in shorts, as he said before. I mean, that guy's built like a battleship, for God's sakes. Excuse me. What I'm saying is, right? Like, you're just looking for anything to get excited about as someone being a Bills fan and covering the Bills at this point. And I think fans want to see those things. They want to see people writing about, yes, he threw 3 touchdowns at a practice. It doesn't mean anything as of tomorrow, but I want to feel a little bit better about myself knowing that he's doing it.
I don't disagree with that. I'm saying is don't read too much in it.
I'm already reading into it, Mike.
Because
Super Bowl.
If he has a bad day, again, it's a day, and they may be working on certain things. And it is interesting to say, when people say he took some chances, they did some red zone stuff. Well, you better be taking chances in May in an OTA to get yourself that type of work.
Now you're being negative.
I mean, they're designed, there's almost a public relations aspect of this to the team where, especially the day that they show it off to the media.
Allowed to see it.
Yes. They set these things up.
I always never liked training camp, whatever it is. Nobody ever cheers for the defense.
You are right.
I really don't. Nobody ever points out that, man, he was right. Whatever the play is.
Or how lousy they're playing when he's busy throwing 3 touchdown passes.
Yeah, so that's just it. It was, by the way, that 80-yard touchdown in camp was on your defense. It was your starting cornerback that, got sizzled.
By the way, we talked to the defensive guys sort of get a kick out of that. They know. Now, you pick off the pass, the fans are thrilled when it's like the third-string quarterback who threw it. With Josh Allen, not so much. But they know that, and people like offense. They want to see that, especially on this team where the quarterback is such a big part of it.
Is there anyone you find yourself watching? Any of you guys, like a guy that you just for now says, I'm interested to see what becomes of this guy.
Zay Jones.
Zay Jones. I was going to say the same guy.
Said it first, so this is it, right? This is your season. You make a move. I mean, to be honest with you, there is not a guarantee that he makes it out of training camp, depending on listen, they're so hurt at wide receiver, thin at wide receiver, he's probably making this team. But if he doesn't do something, you're gone. It's over. And it's another failed top 3-round wide receiver draft pick that we've gotten over the last 15 years.
You got to hope he's Eric Moulds. And that's what Eric Moulds, 2 years of nothing. And then all of a sudden, year 3, with Doug Flutie, Eric Moulds just took off and became a great player for the team. Not saying he's going to be great this year, but I'm watching him too. I think he can be very good, or at least, good enough to help this year. It's a huge year for him.